The Phoenix Mercury's finals sweep should have been a story of triumph. Instead, it's become a symbol of everything wrong with the WNBA. Diana Taurasi, one of the league's most recognizable veterans, chose to deflect rather than reflect, blaming the media, fans, and even the spotlight that once gave her sport relevance. But here's what the cameras couldn't hide. Those $10 tickets weren't even selling. Game 3 looked like a scrimmage in an empty gym. Entire lower sections sat vacant. You could hear sneakers squeak and coaches yell plays from the upper decks because there simply weren't enough fans to drown out the silence. Just a few months ago, those same seats were packed when Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever took the floor. Back then, $500 couldn't even guarantee you a spot near the court. The energy was electric, the atmosphere alive. Every game Clark played was treated like a major event. But now the championship, the moment meant to showcase the best of the best, can't even draw 500,000 viewers. The numbers don't just tell a sad story. They expose the uncomfortable truth that the WNBA has spent years trying to deny. People aren't tuning in for the league. They're tuning in for Caitlin Clark. While Cathy Engelbert, the embattled WNBA commissioner, tries to spin the narrative by claiming the league is in its strongest position ever, the stats say otherwise. Before Clark's injury, the Fever's regular season games were smashing viewership records, sometimes outdrawing MLB broadcasts and men's college basketball. Now the finals are pulling fewer viewers than a random Tuesday night Fever matchup. ESPN, once proudly airing WNBA finals in primetime, quietly pushed Game 4 to its streaming service, an unthinkable downgrade for a championship event. Sponsors like Nike slashed ad budgets, and the corporate enthusiasm Engelbert bragged about just months ago has evaporated overnight. And then came Diana Taurasi's post-game rant, a moment that perfectly encapsulated the league's denial. She claimed that the WNBA doesn't need superstars like Clark, that real fans love the game regardless of who's playing. It was a statement so delusional it sent shockwaves through the basketball world. How can a league desperate for visibility turn its back on the very player who made it relevant? Taurasi's comments didn't sound like leadership. They sounded like resentment. She wasn't protecting the game. She was protecting her ego. Even more telling was Sophie Cunningham's response. The former Mercury player, now with Indiana, posted a photo from a sold-out Fever game earlier in the year with the caption, "Remember when basketball was fun?" It wasn't just a jab, it was a message. Everyone in the league knows why fans showed up. They came for the excitement, the passion, and yes, the spectacle that Caitlin Clark brought to every court she touched. Without her, the WNBA feels like it's running on fumes. When reporters confronted Taurasi about the obvious, the empty seats staring back from every broadcast, her excuse was that the media was pushing a false narrative. False narrative? You can literally see the vacant rows on television. During free throws, wide shots reveal entire sections untouched. Some security guards looked more focused than the crowd because they had nothing else to do. You could practically count the fans in attendance. The idea that this is somehow exaggerated would be laughable if it weren't so sad. The league's financial reality is now impossible to ignore. The Players Association, gearing up for new salary negotiations, has been left without leverage. How do you demand higher pay when your finals tickets are selling for less than a fast food combo meal? Union representatives are furious, claiming Engelbert's mishandling of Clark's situation, from her injury treatment to the officiating controversies that preceded it, directly contributed to this financial collapse. And they might be right. When Clark was thriving, the league was thriving. The minute she went down, the illusion of stability vanished. Even the conspiracy theories have started to spread like wildfire. Some fans believe Clark's injury wasn't just bad luck. They think the league wanted her out of the spotlight to prove it could survive without her. Suspicious officiating in December games, veterans targeting her ankles, and Engelbert's refusal to acknowledge the obvious aggression all fueled that narrative. Whether it's true doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that fans believe it, and they're expressing that belief the only way that matters in business, by not showing up. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has remained the definition of grace under pressure. While veterans whine and executives panic, she's been posting videos of her rehab, cheering for teammates, and staying laser-focused on her comeback. Her professionalism is everything the league claims to represent but rarely delivers. She's still the face of women's basketball, even from the bench. Clips of her doing basic ankle exercises are getting more engagement than the finals highlights themselves. That's the level of influence we're talking about. The viewership collapse has been catastrophic. Game 1 pulled 300,000 viewers. Game 2 fell to 250,000, and Game 3 barely crossed 200,000. By comparison, a meaningless Fever game in July when Clark was healthy drew nearly 1.9 million. That's not a small drop, that's a free fall. Social media tells the same story. Posts about the finals get less traction than memes mocking the empty arenas. The WNBA's official account has resorted to reposting old Caitlin Clark clips just to maintain relevance, and the fallout doesn't stop there. Sponsors like AT&T and State Farm are demanding explanations. Some are even asking for refunds or reduced rates after the league failed to deliver promised audience numbers. Scalpers, the lifeblood of event hype, have stopped buying WNBA tickets altogether because they can't resell them. When even the secondary market gives up, you've officially lost cultural momentum. Perhaps the most heartbreaking revelation is how quickly the next generation moved on. Youth basketball programs report that the surge of interest among young girls that Clark sparked has already faded. Kids aren't talking about the finals. They're not asking about Taurasi or Griner. They're waiting for Caitlin Clark to come back. Without her, the WNBA feels invisible again. The Clark effect wasn't just a marketing phenomenon, it was the league's lifeline, and now that it's gone, the cracks are everywhere. The locker rooms aren't immune either. Reports of growing tension between veterans who resent Clark's fame and younger players who idolize her have surfaced,